Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of the Family Chit Chat. I'm Tom Pounder, and today we're going to start a new series on wisdom. We're going to look at what Jesus did, but we're going to also look at a little scary situation that Jesus got his parents involved with that probably maybe we can relate to a little bit. Like, for instance, have you ever done anything where your parents didn't know where you were? Like, you went somewhere and they were like frantic, they didn't know where you were? Like, I'll share this story about my little brother. Like, we were living in Germany at the time, and my little brother, who was only 2 at the time, just wandered off. And it was just around in our neighborhood, but we had no idea where my little brother was. So we went frantically looking all over the neighborhood and whatnot, only to find him that he was in the backyard hanging out in some random area. It was like an area that we thought we looked, but we didn't. But the bottom line was that we were really nervous. We were really worried for him. We didn't know where he went. Well, Jesus did something very similar to his parents. He wandered off, and his parents didn't know where he was. So let's read that story right now. And so, in fact, pause the video, read this story, and answer these few questions. And when we get back together, we're going to talk about that and what that has to do with wisdom about. All right, so pause the video right now. All right, so his family is leaving. They're on their way back home, and all of a sudden they realize that Jesus isn't there. They don't know where Jesus is. Can you imagine not knowing where your own child is? That is like crazy, just like what my story was earlier. It's just crazy. So they were frantic, and they went back, and they were looking for Jesus, and guess where he was? He was at the temple. And what was he doing at the temple? He was sitting there and listening to people. He was learning from the teachers. He was trying to get wisdom. Now listen, he put his parents in a real panic here by doing this. But the bottom line was that he was looking for wisdom and he was trying to get wisdom. Where do you get wisdom from? Jesus went to the temple courts. He went to go learn from the people who were learning from God. And where do you get your wisdom from? Hey, the bottom line is, if you want to be wise, search for wisdom. In fact, not just any kind of wisdom, but wisdom that comes from God. If you want to be wise, search for wisdom that comes from God. Search from people who know about God and who can teach you about God. Again, if you want to be wise, you have to search for wisdom. Search for that godly wisdom. So today I want to encourage you to search for wisdom and seek God. Open up the Bible, spend time praying, ask your parents about God, ask your pastors about God, ask the children's minister about God. Search for wisdom, spend time with people who are going to teach you about wisdom and teach you about God. Again, if you want to be wise, you have to search for that wisdom, so go out today and search for that. And as we kind of wrap up our lesson today, I want to bring up the Bible verse, which is actually one of my most favorite Bible verses ever. I love this Bible verse, and it ties in directly with our theme on wisdom. It's found in James 1:5. If any of you needs wisdom, you should ask God for it. He gives it to you. If you're looking to get wisdom, ask God for it. He gives it to you. He gives it to you. So if you want to get wise, you need to search for it, but search for godly wisdom and ask God for it today. So that is your challenge, and I hope that you do that all throughout the day and all throughout the week. All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for joining me as we continue this series on wisdom. We're going to look at a story next week as well. So I hope to see you next week. Have a great week, everyone.